I haven't gone to the bookstore to look at movies in quite a long time, so I'm headed there right now. I'm riding my bike. I might get rained on. It's rained like 2 or 3 times while I've been getting ready. I have a long list of movies that I want to look for. Let's see how many of them I can find. Alright, I'm back. Although I like books, I'm terrible at reading, so to me it's more of a movie store. I'm especially fond of the horror section. I came home with a stack of movies, and one book that's about movies. The first one I got is Zodiac. It's been a very long time since I've seen this movie, but seeing Longlegs made me want to revisit it. This movie has a pretty incredible cast, and I like David Fincher quite a bit, especially his movie 7.
The Zodiac Killer has come to San Francisco.
Speaking of which, there was a whole slew of serial killer movies made in the wake of Seven's popularity. One of them that I remember being pretty good is The Bone Collector.
Talk to me.
I can't do this.
Yes, you can. I'm with you every step of the way.
To see how he sees.
I like the stars of it and the director Philip Noyce. I don't hear people talk about him very much. I've never really detected a directorial style from him, so maybe that's why. But I think he's got several well-made movies. I also got The Hitcher. I've never seen this movie, but I like Rutger Hauer and Jennifer Jason Leigh.
The terror starts the moment you stop for the Hitcher.
What do you want?
I want you to stop me.
But it seems kind of like Steven Spielberg's film Duel, but also different because the hitchhiker is a human villain, whereas in Duel you kind of personify the truck as the villain. It's one of those old snap cases, which are kind of awful, but I have nostalgia for them. I know there are other people who can relate. There are dozens of us. Dozens! I've seen a copy of the same DVD at the bookstore before, and I would have gotten it, but the case and the disc were all filthy and beat up. Normally if a case is beat up, I can just switch it out for another case, but that's not so easy with snap cases. This one was much more cared for than the previous one, so I snapped it up. I have sort of a small library of books about movies and about filmmaking. I picked this one up about the films of Oliver Stone. I've seen a handful of his movies, but I only have a couple of them in my collection. I'm quite fond of talk radio.
It's the last neighborhood in town. People just don't talk to each other anymore. Let's go to the first caller. Night Talk.
So when I picked the book up off the shelf, I immediately flipped to that chapter. I skimmed a little bit of it, and it was all information that was new to me, so I had to take it home.
Tell me something. I'm curious. How do you dial a phone with a straitjacket on?
I'm going to try to avoid going into too much detail about this next one because I want to keep this video somewhat lighthearted. I like horror films, I'm interested in Florida films, and I like Justin Long. The big three. The Holy Trinity. Because of those interests, many people have recommended Jeepers Creepers to me over the years.
What's he doing?
The hell is that? He dumped something down that pipe.
Wrapped in a sheet.
Unfortunately, the writer-director is also a creeper in real life. That's really an unfortunate part of being into movies and music. I'm generally for separating the art from the artist, but that can be challenging. And I find that especially challenging in this situation. I decided I'd check it out if I could find a cheap used copy, so the creeper wouldn't get any of my money. So I found this double feature DVD. Jeepers Creepers double feature. It was previously owned, but the owner never watched it. It was still sealed. So I got a new copy without the creeper getting any of my money. I also got Diary of the Dead.
George A. Romero's Diary of the Dead.
For those that don't know, George Romero made 6 zombie movies. I'm a big fan of the first 3. I had an idea for a video project that's sort of about George Romero zombie movies, and this was the only one I didn't have a copy of, so I wanted to find a cheap copy. I have no idea if the video project will ever happen. Right now it's just a very loose concept, and I'm not sure exactly what it will become. I knew I wanted to look for the Piranha remake.
Piranha.
I've been aware of it for a long time now, and I remember when Big Lots always had several copies of it for a few dollars, but I wasn't really interested in it at the time. But I didn't realize until more recently that it's made by the same director as Crawl, which I'm quite fond of. I also saw his The Hills of Eyes remake in the theater when it came out, and really didn't care for it. I've also seen High Tension because my Aunt Andrea and Uncle Bill recommended it to me years ago. Anyway, the prices for the Piranha remake seem to have skyrocketed, so I knew I needed to look for a used copy. I like the original Piranha, which my Aunt Danny recommended to me. I also recently picked up the infamous Piranha 2. I haven't watched it yet. As a longtime James Cameron fan, I feel like I need to see it. So I'm gonna have a Piranha series marathon. A Piranhathon, if you will. Alright, I'm gonna go watch some movies. Thanks for watching and have a good night.
Night Talk, Agnes, yeah.
Barry, can I ask you a question?
Hit me.
I wouldn't hit you for the world, sweetheart. I love Lucy. Now, why don't they make more of them?
What?